Joined by Shane Collins, 2021 class for the Montana Football Hall of Fame. And Shane, your story really starts back in Bozeman in high school. You were one of the most highly recruited athletes to come out of high school. I think 65 schools were after your services, but you had a big decision to make. You were a three-sport standout like many Montana athletes are: football, track and field, basketball. Take us through the process now of going from high school on to college.
Well, I tell you what, I really wanted to participate in both track and field and football coming out of high school. And I was really just trying to find what would be the best fit for me. And, you know, that came down to a couple schools. But I really thought at the end of the day that Arizona State was the best fit. At the time, John Cooper was the head coach, but the defensive coordinator was Larry Marmee. And, you know, he said, hey, we'll commit to you. We'll let you have spring ball off and be able to do your track and field, and then we'll catch back up with you in the fall, and we'll go from there. So, you know, it's one thing to say that to a young athlete, but for the most part, they made that commitment to me, and they stuck to it.
Well, yeah, and in your case, I know at one point in high school you had the longest throw in the country, and to have to make that decision as two sports that you loved, you were still able to do both at Arizona State. And then coming out of Arizona State and looking at track and field versus football, it was an Olympic year, right, 1992. So you really had another big decision to make. Am I going to pursue maybe the track and field? But you tell a great story about Coach Gibbs in Washington. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was early on in training camp, and really I wasn't making a big deal about the Olympic deal, but the media was kind of all over it. Mm-hmm. And every time Joe opened the paper, he read that his second-round draft pick was going to leave and go to the Olympics, and he caught me on the stairs one day coming down from the upstairs offices down to the athletic facility, and he goes, hey, Shane, I never drafted you in the second round to go throw the shot put. So from that point on, I said, well, Coach, I'm playing football.
There you go. So the decision there again, and obviously you went into the NFL with the Washington Redskins. And as in many cases with football, the sport of football, injuries is always a part of it. And I believe you cracked the starting lineup in week 11 of your first year with the Redskins, and it was off and rolling. And then over the course of those years, injuries started to play a factor.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately, that's part of the game. You know, I've had a reconstructive shoulder surgery in college on my shoulder my first year out. Blew my knee out after my redshirt sophomore year. You know, fought back. Still was able to get drafted in the second round, went on to college, and you know, that stuff happens, and it's going to continue happening. These guys are getting bigger, stronger, and faster. But I'm super proud of what I've done at Arizona State and for the Washington Redskins. I had a lot of fun. I played. I think I have some good tape out there. I have some good film, and I'm proud of that.
Well, and a big part of your life moving forward, too, is the tremendous family that you've had and Bozeman and coming back to Montana. Talk about your kids, and they're very successful in their own right.
Well, no, that's exactly right. I tell you, I got to shout out my mom and dad. I tell you what, they laid a great foundation for me, and you know, I took what they taught me, and you know, basically, you know, put that onto our kids, and I am so proud. I tell you what, if my wife and I have done anything right, it's raised two pretty good, awesome kids. You know, the one thing that I always told them, that there's only one thing that you can control, and that's your effort. And I think the people that know my son Grant, that played for the Bobcats, they know what kind of effort he displayed out there on the football field. And academically, to get an engineering degree at Montana State, as well as my daughter for her successes on the soccer field, and being able to get recruited by Stanford University and get her degree there, grad trans to Washington State, get her master's there, and be on 2 championship clubs there too at the same time.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for stopping by. Shane Collins, inductee into the 2021 Montana Football Hall of Fame.